Greetings, and today I have another video for you guys. So this is not going to be one of those regular Gwent deck guide videos. Actually, what I was doing today before I actually started the recording, this is actually a bit of an impromptu recording, but I was downloading a game on Steam, and I noticed, and it's not Gwent, just so you know, I'm gonna stick to Gwent on GOG, and I did notice, I think not even after a day after its release, it got a lot of reviews already, so I figured why not try and do sort of a reaction video on the reviews that, you know, Gwent got on Steam. I know for a fact that I didn't do this, I'm not doing this first. Actually, the inspiration obviously came from Trynet. I did watch his video on the reactions of the release on Android and the reviews that they got. So I wanted to sort of try a similar thing with Steam. I know for a fact, I have the thing with Steam and the thing with Gwent is actually, Gwent has been one of the most, not the easiest, I guess the easiest game to sort of collect sort of all the cards, because of, you know, they don't release expansions as often as card games like Hearthstone or, yeah, as Hearthstone does. And it's actually very easy to sort of, I wouldn't say it's easy to learn. I'd say Hearthstone is a little bit easier to learn than Gwent in terms of mechanics. But Gwent is, like, it's slow-paced enough where it's like, you know, you can learn things quick enough. Things don't get intense pretty quickly. Like, you know, like people who start off brand new aren't gonna start at like rank 1, right? They're gonna start like obviously rank, I think it's rank 30 now. I can't quite remember what, I don't know if it went from rank 25 to rank 30. I haven't, you know, been up there or down there, I guess, for that long. But yeah, so I think that's one of the most appealing things that Gwent's going to show is the ability to sort of collect cards relatively easy. At least, of course, people won't really know that until they start playing the game a little bit. But you know, if the people who do get into Gwent from like the ones that come in from Steam, they're probably gonna look at like card sets, what has come out for it already, because, you know, if they've already like, oh, this game's been out GOG, it's been out on Android, etc. Like I saw this there and that. So, you know, just seeing the card sets and like when they got released, they'll probably notice a trend where they don't release it too often. And another thing that, I don't know if this is going to show up, but the comparisons obviously to The Witcher 3's Gwent, those are going to be very prominent, especially to those who are coming from The Witcher 3. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if I saw something like, oh, it's nothing like Witcher's Gwent, why can't it be the old-fashioned Gwent, so I want to try and look for reviews that are like, you know, from a new player's perspective. Like if I were brand new to the game, like first time I've ever seen this game on Steam, because for some reason I don't have a phone that supports it to get Gwent, so I wouldn't have seen it there, or GOG, of course. So we're gonna go ahead, take a look at some Steam reviews. I'm not gonna look at obviously all of them because that would be too long, but I'm gonna try and find the ones that sort of show me that sort of it's a new player's perspective. I also want to look at the ones with like obviously the pros and the cons, because those are the people who've played before, so they definitely have experience, and I just want to see sort of what I think on them as well. So this is going to be a reaction video. I haven't done a reaction video in a while. The last one I've done actually is the Gwent Great Dandelion show, which I haven't done in a while. But yeah, so let's jump over to Steam and take a look at some reviews. Here we are now on Steam. We are now taking a look at people's reviews, and I like how they show sort of the time on record, so that's actually a little bit helpful. So it shows how much time they've put on. I think it's just on Steam. I don't think they combine Steam and GOG. I don't see Steam doing that at all. Plus they mentioned it. So anyway, so I want to take a look at some of these reviews. Like you can tell, some are new, some are pretty memey, and I want to read the meme ones because I'm always up for a good meme. Like for example, something like this long. I don't know if I'm gonna read all of it, or maybe I'll just skim through it. You guys can read along maybe, and if you guys have any thoughts, of course, don't mind putting it in the comment section below. But yeah, let's have a read at this. So, don't know if I'm gonna buy anything, but I sure wouldn't mind a few rounds of Gwent. Well, you definitely don't have to buy anything, in my personal opinion. Like, I've spent money on this game, but you know, it's for the cosmetics. It's for the card backs, the skins. Those are all cosmetics pretty much. Boards. But in terms of cards, I did buy a couple cards. Well, like the special packages and such, because they're on sale, because I thought, why not? But I'm pretty confident that I could collect all the cards actually without having to buy anything, at least, you know, if you have the patience and the dedication for it. Finally, best card game, thanks CDPR. I think he's played this game before, I'm not sure, hard to tell. 300 plus hours in GOG. This is a pretty dead indication, big indication I should say, not a dead one, that someone has played. Let's read over what he thinks of it. Generous monetization system, very free-to-play friendly, very true. Skill over luck, depends on where you are. This depends on where you are, I think. when I say where you are, as in like, if you play someone with bribery, that's not exactly skill. Yeah, so you kind of get what I mean by that. But generally, I agree. Generally, but it's not always the case. It's not as, you know, as bipolar as Hearthstone is, but you know, it's alright. Balance is generally good. Patches are dropped quite often. Hot fixes are almost instant. Not lately. This hasn't happened lately. I think the last two patches have been sort of slow, which is why I'm waiting sort of for the expansion release where I can give sort of a full review, because I'm trying to analyze the patterns of, you know, patches to the expansions coming out. Like some certain factions don't get love. I always see the same thing getting complained about, Nilfgaard for example. So if you guys are like brand new and just saw this video for the first time, you are going to be warned, Nilfgaard's going to be a pain in the ass for you. Unless you love Nilfgaard, then welcome I guess to your realm. Soundtrack, I love the soundtrack. Devs are very communicative. Yes, this is true. Everyone makes mistakes. We're all human, but you know, they do sort of own up to the things they say, and you know, they make things better. So I actually appreciate this. Crossplay and cross-platform progress. Yes, they did mention this. I like it. Dark fantasy setting of The Witcher. Hard to tell. The Witcher's actually already very dark in itself, but definitely compared to the Gwent in The Witcher, this is a bit darker for sure. Campaign is very, very good despite being CCG. Yes, I love Thronebreaker. That was a really good campaign. Very good story actually. I loved going through the story of Queen Neve and such. So people that complain about 2 rows and that old Gwent was better, yeah, it happens a lot. So this guy definitely knows his stuff. 300 plus hours on GOG, I agree. Nilfgaard is not fun to play against. Was a Nilfgaard main myself, recently switched to Skellige, also true. Pre-made decks in the shop are overpriced. If you want to spend money, consider starter bundles instead. Yeah, if depending on where you are, like I said, like if you're sort of sticking around the 30 to 20 range, I think the starter sets are actually alright. They obviously leave room for you to improve because of the provision system. The starter sets, I don't think they use all the way down to 0 provisions left. I think they leave like 10 provisions or so to sort of help you build. I've never tried the intro decks. Maybe I will for a featured video. We'll see though, because I don't know how many new people actually coming from Steam. But yeah, that was our pretty accurate review. I actually like it. Please, my daughter was kidnapped weeks ago. Help me. How about a round of Gwent? Yeah, they did it, the bastards. They really Gwent and released it on Steam. Yes, actually, I think this is gonna capture a lot of people's eyes, which is why I really like that they actually released it on Steam. Then again, I'm speaking from a biased opinion because I use Steam a lot. The only reason why I found out Gwent was coming on as standalone, because from The Witcher, of course, like everyone else. Heck. Glad they removed that unnecessary open world minigame in The Witcher 3 and focus on expanding the main game. I think I saw this comment on, I think it was Reddit, or no, it was on Twitter. It was a funny one where it's like, oh, Witcher 3 was the real sort of prequel and Gwent's the real game, and it's, oh, that's funny. I actually appreciate it. That was pretty funny. 300 plus hours. We already went through one. Let's see if there's anything he says different. Deep mechanics, satisfying gameplay. Deep mechanics, true. Amazing art. Yes, generous rewards just for playing. This is true. I like how generous they are with the rewards actually. Like 25 scraps may not seem like a much, but comparing it to sort of the cost of the cards for crafting, like you got legendary, which is I think it's worth 800, and in Hearthstone it's 1200, I believe. I think it's 1200. Epics are, I can't remember what the crafting, I haven't crafted a card in a while. Like I've just collected them all, so. But I know for a fact that the cost of crafting cards isn't as high as it is in Hearthstone, and it's also and the rewards also help you get it closer. So it's like the curve goes down like that. Hearthstone is kind of like that in a way, I think. Anyway, I want to see this comment actually. Deep mechanics and LOL satisfying. You're crazy. Bring gold Gwent. I think this guy, yeah, this guy's definitely a fan of old Gwent. Deep mechanics though, I can appreciate. I mean, yeah, in a like, I guess if I'm looking at other games, it's kind of tough because old Gwent had a lot of very fun mechanics like reveal and mill, which also exist now, but just not in a higher scale of what it was in old Gwent. Like people were abusing combos that use like strengthen. If anyone remembers strengthen from old Gwent, that was one of my favorite abilities where you could strengthen units to change their base power, and then you could abuse res. That's what made Skellige pretty powerful actually, and that was also when hand buff was a thing as well. Hand buff was one of my favorite decks to play, was hand buff and strengthen. Those were the most favorite, one of my favorite mechanics. It's not like, I'm not trying to undervalue today's Gwent. Obviously they changed, I guess, I mean, I wouldn't call that memes because that is a legitimate card strategy if it exists. Okay, so a lot of what Gwent is nowadays is like control and swarm, which is in every faction, which is not so fun. So, you know, I don't know. Deep mechanics, okay, I guess it makes sense. I don't know. I'm pretty torn. I mean, I shouldn't be torn, but I don't know why I'm torn. I don't know why I'm talking. I'm just like, Miles better than Artifact and its half-brain community. I can't say this. I don't know anything about Artifact. I just, apparently from what I heard, one of my friends that played Artifact says that the pay-to-win model killed it. And yeah, so there's a lot of card games you can, my guess is other card games you were able to get cards easier and for less the price. I don't know how Artifact managed to mess that one up. I don't know. This game is very convenient for beginners. Cards are farmed quite quickly. Best part of the game is how the cards look. The new card backs are amazing. Card backs in general are amazing. Like I appreciated the one. I think this was from either Merchants of Fear or Iron Judgment. The one with the flaming braziers on the side. You got the red and the blue. I think it's Iron Judgment. I can't quite remember. But I love those card backs. Like those were really fun. Like really cool. I had to have them. Okay, my guess is, I'm already reading the first sentence and I'm thinking he's already comparing it to old Gwent because I'm seeing it. Do not expect it to be like the Witcher 3 Gwent because it simply isn't. Gwent is not a mini game anymore. For CDPR evolved it into a legitimate card game with monthly balance patches, yes. Regular expansions and a competitive community. Gameplay wise, it is definitely up there if the big names of the genre like Magic or Hearthstone, although it's being pretty different. No mana system, no frequent drawing, row system to some extent. Gwent is very generous with its resources, making it an ideal option for players who don't want to spend money on the game or just want to try it without committing to much of the game. Also, it has probably the best card designs of any trading card games with all of your favorite characters from the Witcher universe. I would 100% recommend trying out Gwent. You could say that last part, not the second to last part, I guess, before the 100% recommend, is about people who are into Hearthstone who used to play World of Warcraft. A lot of your favorite World of Warcraft characters are in Hearthstone. A lot of your favorite Elder Scrolls Online, Elder Scrolls lore characters are in Elder Scrolls Legends. I don't know about Artifact. I don't know. My guess is it's from Dota 2, I think, because I think Valve made it, and I can't remember that one. But yeah, so I think that's the same kind of logic with that. So that one I'm not really minding so much. But something I do like is the fact that, yes, he is sort of defending new Gwent. You know, it's not like the old Witcher Gwent. Definitely, if we were playing Witcher Gwent as a competitive setting, it would just be too insane. Things would just get chaotic, and there'd be riots everywhere. I'm not even kidding. Like, that's just how crazy old Gwent was. You abused the spies. Weather was absolutely disgusting. Commander's Horn was absolutely disgusting. Definitely not fit for a competitive environment. So I definitely agree with sort of the style that they changed into, you know, the old Gwent. Again, new Gwent, my main complaint really is Nilfgaard. The fact that people are just playing it way too much, I think. And for understanding reasons. Like, I don't actually blame them for playing Nilfgaard. It just happens a lot, which actually means there is a problem with it, because you can't just say like, oh, for 10,000 people it must be, you know, like it can't be just a coincidence that many people are playing the same faction. You know what I mean? So, you know, it is what it is. Gameplay wise, definitely up there with the big names of the genre like Magic or Hearthstone. It is different, I will say that. I'm not sure if it's up there, but I know it's in a different branch, obviously. I still find Gwent to be a little bit of a niche game, again, just because of its unique gameplay, which is why I really like the release on Steam, just because I feel like, you know, more people will see what Gwent's really all about as a competitive standpoint, as opposed to just a Witcher 3 minigame. Okay, so I found one claiming to have 2,000 hours on the game, so let's see his stuff. I'm not sure how much of this I'm going to touch, just because it is a lot to read. Let's see the core game design, art, business model, competitive scene. Occasional glitches, poor communication from developers. Like I said, in sort of recent months, yes, this is true. The poor communications from developers. They would release things where it's like no one sort of expected, and it's like it affected the game in a negative way. But there is some upside to this, because, you know, it kind of prompts comments from the people that actually play it, and, you know, they kind of bounce back. They don't kind of bounce back. They bounce back, and they actually improve on the mistakes they made. So, you know, I feel like this is kind of overstated, I think. I feel like, you know, because yes, pure communication, while it is true, it doesn't mean that, you know, it's a bad thing overall, because they do come back and they do bounce back from it. So standalone versus minigame, I don't know, I think we're gonna see more of this, so I'm not sure. Gameplay, game modes, business model. Staying free to play is a completely valid option as monetization revolves mainly around cosmetics. Yes, I do like this fact. Like, I'm trying to say, like, most games, like if we're talking like League of Legends, for example, like a lot of the stuff you pay for really is for cosmetics, like the skins, which are really cool. Again, I haven't played League in a long time, so I'm not gonna try and, you know, claim that I know everything about that. So new resources of free resources that new active players can complete the full collection within months. I agree. Daily login rewards, daily quests, rewards for rounds 1. Oh, and the rewarding system, the rewarding tree system, those are super generous. Like, as a new player, I suggest you guys actually take advantage of those reward trees. Honestly, take advantage of the reward trees. The moment you get yourselves a reward points, whatever, spend them. Spend them on any and every reward tree that you have unfilled. Those will definitely boost your progression to collecting cards. Trust me, that's one of the best ways I've seen to sort of help out new players, especially those coming new into Gwent. Very appealing to new players in my personal opinion. So yeah, let's move on. Twitch drops, yes. Occasional free goodies during major tournaments or new releases, yes. You can also spend your rewards as you see fit. The reward book, I knew he was going to touch on it, and I completely agree. Card pool. Game doesn't have rotation, which means the card pool is constantly expanding. So far, there have been 4 medium-sized expansions and 2 smaller releases, with 2 large expansions coming this year. I'm not quite sure. I don't quite remember if he said it was going to be large expansions, but I think on my Discord, which, by the way, you guys should join me on my Discord. One of the people that are in my server kind of asked me sort of like, what's the average amount of cards that get released in expansions? And I didn't really calculate it, but I was sort of guesstimating around a card number of like between 86 and 89. So I don't, like, for it to be a large expansion, I need to see at least 110. I think, because it needs to be over the average. Like, it has to be over the average for sure. But the highest I think I've seen is 101. And I think that's from Iron Judgment. I can't quite remember. Maybe I'll do a calculation on that and I'll post it on my Discord just to see. So for it to be a large expansion, for me at least, based on my standards, it needs to be at least 110 or more. Even I'm pushing it as far as 130. So yeah. Balance is thus maintained not only by power tweaks, but also by adjusting deck building cost of cards. Overall, the balance is pretty good, and there are incentives to play multiple decks in the rank ladder, so meta is typically not dominated by one deck, and staleness is not an issue. Right. I am going to humbly disagree with that last sentence. Well, not 100%, because yes, it is not overly dominated by one deck, but, you know, like I said, when you have a lot of people either playing the same kind of deck, like when you play a poison deck with a morale, without a morale, with a seer, without an seer, it's a freaking poison deck. It's the same kind of deck. Doesn't mean it can be the exact same deck, but it's the same type of deck, and it counts the same, I think. So, you know, I have to humbly disagree with this particular one. At least lately. If they make a lot of changes, like in upcoming patches and expansions, I will happily eat my words. But for now, nah, I can't. Conclusion. I'm just gonna jump straight to conclusion. Actually, let's go to technical. Technical, I think, is pretty important. Crossplay over GOG, Steam, Android, iOS, and you can switch platforms freely using one account. Yes, I love that they did this, so you don't have to worry about, oh, am I gonna lose my account? You won't. Running on Unity engine, the game is fairly... Wow, I didn't know it was running on Unity. I should have kept track more of that, because I'm actually learning Unity. It's part of my programming hobby. Game is fairly demanding, so dedicated graphics card is recommended if you want a smooth experience. I agree. My laptop that has a 1050 kind of starts to scream, but then again, I've had it for 4 years. So that, I don't know. Though playing on office laptops decks with only integrated GPU is still possible, it is. It'll just make noises. Major patches are released regularly at the start of the month, typically followed by hot fixes if necessary. I think there was a point in December where patches did not get released. Like, you had 2 months of scenarios being overpowered and double scenarios being a thing. That was intense, that was ridiculous, and that was pretty sad. Bugs introduced with new releases are sadly not a rare occurrence, but hot fixes are typically issued very fast for PCs. However, it also has to be said that development can often appear chaotic due to lack of communication from the developers and frequent changes in design philosophy. Yes, I agree. And overall, Gwent is a unique game with a genre thanks to its system of 3 rounds and lack of mana/resource management. It leans more towards its competitive side, but at the same time it's still a great pick for those who just want to try it as a Witcher-related pastime. Thanks to its business model and fairly simple core design, it's very accessible to new players. Yes, this is a great review overall. I didn't read, obviously, all of it, but, you know, I kind of have a sense because I've also played Gwent myself. So, you know, I definitely agree with most of his review. Like I said, just the one where staleness is an issue. For now, it is. Like I said, I'll eat my words in later, like at the end of the month, if a big patch happens or when a new expansion releases. Over 1,000 hours. I don't want to go through too much of the big ones like that. I like the mean ones here. Excuse me, sir. Would you like endless side quests, a mature storyline, and naked bubbies with your card game? Nah, I'm good. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. I'm not sure. Gwent makes sense to me in a way many other card games haven't. Interesting. The Roach card has him standing on the roof. 10 out of 10. I love this review. This is great. Yes, this is great. I think I've had that glitch too, where like Roach just comes up suddenly and is like, what the f. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I loved it. The moment I saw Roach's premium design of him being whistled onto a roof, that was great. I still don't know how to play this game, but I still have some nice looking cards, and I like nice looking cards. They are nice looking cards, I have to agree. In terms of artwork, they put quite a bit of time into it. I actually enjoyed it. Just looking through, one of the best card games you'll ever play. The best CCG ever. I think a lot of these are people that have played before, because if judging it as the best card game ever after 1.7 hours, either you only play card games on Steam because Hearthstone isn't on Steam, and Artifact is, so I don't know. Tough. There are no other card games with a whole franchise of 3 pretty decent titles as a beta test. Potentially 4, although the 4th one's not going to be related to Gwent, but potentially 4 decent titles under its belt. Cyberpunk. Can't wait for that. Finally on Steam, great card game, if not the best, but please do fix bugs because there are bugs everywhere. Some deploy, some bleedings, Death Wish don't work, Mata doesn't let you draw. It's time to dump or get off the privy. Best CCG is now on Steam. Alright. You simply must give this game a try. Let's have a read actually. Oh, okay, not this big as I thought. Played this game since closed beta, although set in the same grim universe of the Witcher series. This game is not the Gwent you know from Witcher 3, that is true. Sharing most of the core mechanics, it has been reworked and rebalanced with multiplayer experience, meaning it is now 2 rows instead of 3, and card advantage spies have been removed. Yeah, pretty much. This might sound as a disappointment to some, but rest assured this game is more than capable of scratching the Gwent itch of even the most hardcore Witcher fans. Filled extended with lore, beautiful art, and eerie atmosphere, this game is extremely easy to get into and hard to let go. In combination with it being easily the most generous game of its kind on the market, it has never too late to give it a try. Yeah, I mean, you know, even if you are still having sort of the old Gwent vibes, you know, it doesn't hurt to give it a try, you know? Like, definitely give it a try. If you don't like it, at least you can say you tried it, right? So, you know, why not give it a try? I'm afraid of his name, by the way. 400 plus hours in GGG, or GOG, I don't know why I said GGG. This game just keeps on giving. By far the most generous free-to-play card game out there. The game has had its rough patches, but content and balance-wise has probably never been better. CDPR strive for monthly balance patches, and new content and expansions are fairly frequent. Expansions haven't had one since the Surprise Merchants of Fear were introduced the very scary scenarios. They finally fixed it, at least. The double scenarios no longer exist anywhere, but for some reason Nilfgaard always seems to have the last say on like the pretty nutty stuff. I don't know why. Witcher, my son was murdered by the Nilfgaardians and you ask me for a discount? How about a couple of rounds of Gwent? Oh yeah. 100 hours on Gwent and I still build, I'm gonna say shit decks? I'm not quite sure. I spent a lot of hours playing Gwent on GOG as a pioneer. Amazing game, a lot of tricks to learn, and it's nice and fun to get to it after playing a lot of OG Gwent and Witcher 3. Give it a try and you might like it. Exactly. Yes! Yes! I like your name too. I don't play many card games. I've only ever played this one and Magic. I sure love this though, coming from 90+ hours from GOG. Very well balanced, but screw Nilfgaard. I hate playing against them. This should get more helpful reviews just because of that one sentence. Screw Nilfgaard, I hate playing against them. I do play Nilfgaard decks, but obviously I try to play them because of what they're meant to do, like Viper, Witcher, Mill, Enslave, Hyperthin, not Poison, because I feel like Poison's just a fancy way of control. Like, come on. Like, so I'm not gonna continue with the Nilfgaard rants just because, you know, I do play Nilfgaard regrettably, but like I said, I don't try to play. So I try to play Nilfgaard based on its description, of course, with, you know, Mill, Reveal, which is no longer a thing regrettably. Kind of still is with Hyperthin, but that's about it. Like, you have to integrate Reveal now with another mechanic to make it viable. Very enjoyable card game in the Witcher universe. I have 200 hours on GOG and have never felt the game was pay to win. The rules may seem complicated, but please give it a try. 300+ hours in Gwent, 150+ hours in The Witcher 3. Need I say more? For me, this would be opposite. I still played a lot more of The Witcher 3 Gwent than I did in GOG. There's a reason why I haven't finished Blood and Wine. There you go. If you made it this far in the video, then you just got revealed. Leaked. I'm just letting you know now that I did not finish Blood and Wine because I was too busy with Gwent. And then when it came out as a standalone, I stopped playing Witcher 3. I wanted to get straight into standalone Gwent because I wanted to play it. And to this day, I still haven't finished Blood and Wine. Against Redovid Africa, who does 20 freaking points with Shani, are you freaking retarded? I would recommend this game if you've always liked to see Hearthstone on Steam. This game is very well designed. Not the same concept of games. Hearthstone and Gwent are worlds apart when it comes to sort of their mechanics. With the style of decks, not so much, but yeah. For all Witcher fans and beyond, I love it. Let's read a couple more and then I'm just gonna stop. Gwenty cards, yes, not bad at all. Let's read one relatively long one. I don't know if this is long, it's not that long. Oh, I like this one. I like casual player reviews. Like I said, I want to read it from one where it's relatively new. Have over 50 hours on GOG. I'm a casual player, but the game is a lot of fun. The art style and animations during gameplay is the best of any other card game I have seen. I love it since the art is non-cartoony. Yes, it is. I think when the old Gwent transitioned to Homecoming Gwent, the mood definitely changed. Like the entire atmosphere of The Witcher definitely matched what the game, the Witcher game, because the old beta Gwent was sort of kind of upbeat, whereas the Homecoming Gwent is a bit more serious, a bit more dark, and you know, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. The reward system is also more generous than any other card games on the market. Like I said, I can compare this against Hearthstone, Elder Scrolls Legends, I mean Artifact because of what I've been told about the pay-to-win model. Magic the Gathering Arena, I'm not quite sure, I haven't played that in a while. Legends of Runeterra, they're relatively friendly with their collection. Like I'm a casual Legends of Runeterra player, but I've actually collected almost half of the collection. I haven't paid for a card, so I haven't even paid for shards or for like coins. So I don't know. Hard to compare because I've been playing. I have like over 770 hours on GOG, Gwent, and I only have like, I don't know, 3 weeks of casual gameplay of Legends of Runeterra. I don't know how many hours it adds up to. Highly recommended if you're a Witcher fan or just looking for a good card game. Yes. Let's go further down. Yeah, a lot of them say, oh, just a big fat yes. Pretty much sum it all up. Do not stare at Vez. Yeah, so a lot of these seems similar. Like I haven't, like I actually want to check out a couple of sort of the downvote reviews if there's any. Please tell me there were some. There has to be some, right? Okay, so here we go. Let's look at some negatives because we didn't look at negatives just yet. Alright, let's take a look at this non-recommended. The good, played closed beta, and after a few patches, I had around 400 hours in the game. When I quit, decided to check out the game again recently. My thoughts on it. Card art is top tier. Okay, so the card art, as you're noticing, even through the negative ones, even though this is my first, it's very common that the card art is actually really good for Gwent. So that's a very common thing you'll see. You'll get a lot of cards very fast. Seriously, the game gives away scraps so fast, you can probably have the most of the cards 100 hours into the game. Very true. Simplified the game too much. I'm guessing they tried to target casuals to play the game, but failed to attract them. Yeah. Everything in the game got utterly screwed when you compare it to the closed beta state of the game. Yeah. Leaders look horrible. I don't know who designed this and thought it was a good idea to put them in the game. They look too much out of place. I don't know. I actually like the positioning of the leaders. Now, of course, they're not like their own cards anymore, like in closed beta when they were still cards. By the way, Dagon's gone. Kind of sad. I like Dagon. But oh well. It is what it is. Redovit's back at least, so that's a good thing. But I don't know. I actually disagree with that. I actually like the leaders. The skins, like okay, sure. When you change it to a model where it's like the leaders are sort of on their own, now they're gonna start charging you money to buy their skins. But obviously, if they're not going to try, because of how friendly they make it for you to collect cards, then I'm totally okay with, you know, paying for cosmetics, right? So, you know, I actually don't mind that. Browsing through main menu feels like playing a mobile game. After all these years, they just couldn't make a decent menu. Okay. In this current state, I don't recommend the game at all. Not enjoyable to play. Just give us closed beta back again. CDPR. Clearly as an old Gwent fan. Let's look at a couple more. Let's look at this one. Beautiful visuals, great art variety, great card variety, many possible strategies, fairly unique meta, active community, requires a third-party login each time you launch the game. This is done so that you can keep your progression going regardless of what platform you log in, so I actually appreciate that. Obviously, there's no such thing as being able to go through just one network to, you know, get everything, you know, progression through, because you'll be switching from server to server, so, you know, you kind of have to have that third party, I think. Very expensive in-app purchases. Well, it's for cosmetics. You're not paying for cards, so I don't know. They have to make some sort of money in their pockets. I know it makes it sound like I'm supporting them, but it's like after the things I've seen for playing a while, I don't know. I can understand where they're coming from. Low in-game communication, no chat, copying Hearthstone before a game that has swears in its in-game text. It's a bit ironic. In-game, you're talking about like card interactions, I guess. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, I think it needs, I hope that's what this means. Because I don't quite know what this means, but I think cards should have interactions with each other. I know Legends of Runeterra has that, I noticed it. But it would be cool if Gwent had some voice lines, especially if like certain characters come in. Like for example, if you play Geralt and then Ciri comes in right after, and you know, have Geralt maybe say something, or have Ciri say something unique because Geralt's there. I don't know. More RNG elements than an average card game. Okay, buddy. I don't know. I don't know about that. Like, I played Gwent for a while, so I can understand. Like, I know what this is saying, but RNG, really? I don't know. That's tough. Drawing cards is RNG. That's a card game. It's how it works, but I don't know. Kinda pay to win. I tried the game for the first 3 hours and always got a match with premium cards players. People are smurfing? People smurf in Gwent? I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'll try to smurf. I don't know. Keep your pay to win away from me. Okay. I mean, either these people were unlucky or I don't know. Okay. Let's, I'm gonna end it. Oh, never mind. It was a good game in the beta state. Developers always change the game during Homecoming. After that, I just quit. Most worst changes for me are not even a single card was the same. Cut number of rows from 3 to 2. Many card deck archetypes disappear. Only 2 things for plus are audio, music, and incredible look of cards. Did you know how many expansions came after beta? Beta balancing was a shitstorm, and now it's a way better game. Please try it before saying something, saying, oh no, beta Gwent is better. They change everything and hate changes. Yeah, my guess is he probably didn't play after Homecoming, so maybe that's where some of these were being influenced by. So, I mean, it is what it is if that's the case, but... Oh, what is this? This is interesting. Do not support CDPR. This company somehow gained a laundry list of brain-dead fanboys that will praise anything they do. I played Gwent since beta. I was a part of a small chosen group by the developers to discuss opinions, ideas, and features of Gwent before it released. 100% of everything we said was ignored. They went the complete opposite direction and simply copy and pasted the Hearthstone mentality instead. I don't know about that. You guys can be the judge of that, right? Once Homecoming dropped, there was a mass exodus. It was reviled. Instead of going back on what made more than half their player base quit, they continued with that mentality. Instead, once Homecoming dropped, there was a mass exodus. Oh, I already read that. The game released completely different from beta, literally removing an entire row. How can you still pretend it's Gwent? Witcher 3 Gwent has 3 rows. It is still Gwent. Is it still Gwent if it's 2 rows? Elder Scrolls Legends had 2 rows at the time too. Guess how popular that game is? It's shut down. Technically not 2 rows, it's 2 columns. And second, if he's watching this, by the way, then yikes. And The Witcher 3 belongs to the same company that makes Gwent. So if CDPR changes a lot of the things that happens to a game that I don't know if they invented it, because I haven't read the books, and I don't know if Gwent's in the Witcher series. I'm not sure about that. I haven't read that much of it yet. But, you know, as far as I know, from what I'm saying right now, someone who hasn't read all the books yet, I'm still just finishing book 1. It belongs to CDPR. I think that they have the right to do what they want with their own product. If they say it's Gwent, then it's Gwent, you know? Like, most people obviously won't see it the same because it's different. But I mean, it's the same game. It's Gwent. It's The Witcher. It's CDPR. It's their company. Or, it's their game. It's the company's game. Can't really do or say anything otherwise, you know? So shady business practices, ignoring fans, and heavily monetizing garbage is a great reason by itself not to support CDPR or this game, but the game itself, 12 people, it's split between helpful and funny. Also should not be supported. This is a typical card game now. You get random cards for different factions, restricted to only one, and try to build a deck using the cards you're given or you pay for. Each faction has new mechanics, has a few mechanics you can utilize, making them unique in terms of lore, but the mechanics basically the same thing. Okay, yeah, this part I agree. Like, Harmony and Thrive are 2 different branches with the same result. Boosting by 1 whenever a certain condition happens. An engine, pretty much. The entire game revolves around adding and subtracting from point totals, and you win a round by having the highest total. It's best out of 3, so there's a mini strategy of choosing when to be aggressive or bait them to overplay. But since they dumped the game down so much, most cards are usually +1 or -1. You're whittling away or slowly building up. Cards are broken into 2 rarities, bronze and gold. There is a resource limit so that you can't use gold cards. All gold cards, but unlike beta, you can use a lot of gold cards. Beta had gold, silver, and bronze with a hard limit on golds and silvers. No idea why that was changed. Also in beta, gold cards were actually good. You could design entire decks around them. Now they are basically like bronze cards, just better. Instead of doing +1, the gold will do +3 or -1 in an effect. Dumbed down incredibly. Obviously that's a generalization. There are cards that do -2 or kill the highest thing on the field, but those are unique to themselves. There are even broken cards like Geralt kills an enemy unit with 9+, so unless you're paying the 1 or 2 viable decks that use tiny numbers, every single player runs Geralt. Not regular Geralt, but Geralt Igni and Erdrin lately. And plays him last because causes a huge swing, so you lose since the cards are so dumbed down and simplistic. Stuff like that comes out of nowhere because huge swings can remove all sense of strategy. To me, the game feels like you're chiseling tiny bits, and at any moment anybody can take a sledgehammer to the work. Since the game is so boring and they ruined the collecting aspect by homogenizing all the cards they were forced to throw in superficial progression, every season they add a page in this book where you collect keys to unlock the currencies used to get new cards. I think they think people care about the lore, which nobody should because it's incredibly stilted and trite writing. The book progression was shallow and didn't add much, so they threw in journeys, which is simply copy pasting battle passes, and unless you pay for the premium version, it's just a bit more scraps thrown at you. Since I played in beta when the game was released, I gotta stop here because there's something about Journey that I want to talk about. People may think it's a sort of version of Battle Pass, you know. First of all, Journey can be accessed by anyone. You pay to progress ahead. You don't pay to get those exclusives. Well, you do get those exclusives, but, you know, not for long because people will sort of play their asses off to get those exclusives. So I actually like the idea behind Journey and the progression system. It gives some people the motivation to play Gwent and win more rounds because they get more rewards for it. And even if they were copying pasting sort of a battle pass, there's a reason why a lot of other games do battle passes. It is very popular. And I don't know if it's very popular because I haven't played enough games with battle passes, but I'm guessing there's a reason why that's a trend. There has to be a reason why that's a trend if you're looking at it from the outside. And it's probably because it's popular, people like it to get those exclusivities, and honestly, I don't even think it's a big copy paste of the battle passes. So, you know, I can't say too much because again, I don't know enough. So, you know, some people could be like, you have no right to say this because you don't know anything. Sure, I guess you can say that, but I follow patterns. I like to follow patterns, and there is a pattern of a lot of popular games following the battle pass system, and there's a reason why. That's all I can say. Where was I? Unless you pay for the premium version, it's just a bit more scraps thrown at you. Since I played in the beta, the game was released, they wiped out all the cards and gave me 10,000 scraps so I can literally get any card in the game. I never worried about not having one, I just crafted on the spot. So these progression additions are extremely transparent to me. That being said, the cards feel more like a means to an end rather than your soldiers you're sending into battle. It's a card game. It's not a battle simulator. Which I desperately wish this game was making you feel like. That was the main motivation for butchering the game. The original was about two people playing in a den playing cards, you know, like Witcher 3. But they wanted to be like building huge armies on a battlefield. It's a card game. I don't know what more you can say about that. It's a card game. Other than that, there's not much to say. As you can see, the CDPR shills are out in full force. They are paid reviews by CDPR shills with more likes than there are players playing the game. If it was up to me, I'd bring back Gwent beta. This complaint is echoed through the halls of CDPR forums and reviews by us original fans that gave them the initial suggestion that allowed this game to get this far. It won't be heard though, the brain-dead fanboys with mommy's wallets listening to the CDPR-sponsored Twitch shills more than make up for it. Comments are disabled for this review. Okay. I guess there's a reason for that. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna get some very polar reviews. I mean, it is what it is with most games, I think. Like, you're never gonna see one game where it's like positive reviews all the way through. Overall, I kind of expected what I saw. Like, I kind of expected what I saw pretty much. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. A lot of support for sure, and obviously some negatives. Like, we're seeing quite a bit of negative. Oh, that's it? Oh, not as much as I thought. But yeah, so I think I'm gonna end sort of my reaction sort of to the Steam reviews. If you guys obviously want to have a look, just check out Gwent on Steam, check out the reviews. Let me know what your guys' opinions are. Obviously, like I told you, I know I'm not the first to do this kind of video. Like I said, I've seen TriNet do this on the Android release, and I thought it was fun. So I thought I'd give it a shot myself, and obviously let me know what you guys thought of these reviews. Obviously, I didn't read everything, so if you guys want to have a go at reading at it yourselves, definitely go for it. And, you know, if you guys want to have a discussion with me, like, you know, about Gwent, you know, about decks, especially if you're new, if you're just coming in from Steam, definitely leave a subscribe to this channel because I do like to post Gwent content. 5th anniversary of The Witcher's coming up. The 5th anniversary of The Witcher happened today. So the time I'm recording this video is the Monday when they announced the 5th anniversary. I didn't even keep track. I guess it's been that long. But yeah, so I'll be doing a special project then. Kind of obvious what it's going to be. But yeah, so if you guys did enjoy, please leave it a like, of course, and comment on whatever you guys thought of these reviews. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions. And of course, subscribe for more Gwent content, and be sure to join me on Discord so we can start chatting Gwent. So if you guys need some help or such, me and some of the people that are already in my server can definitely come help you out. And other than that, this is Enzo signing out, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.